Happy New Year, everybody. It's 9:42. My last video didn't make it out, so I'm not going to be doing a great big video because I'm tired. But I will tell you that the face mask of this world, North America, happens to be in Canada. We're spinning the loom. On one end we grow trees. In the center we have the oil, and the other end we have the water. If you want to know about the moon landing was over 50 years ago, this is the moon landing. These are the two sides of your brain. This is the D and the G. Okay, this is the gamma, the beta, and the zeta. Here's the G side, here's the D side. One runs the seventh gate. One is electrical, the other is the boiler and steam in the gas room. V, V, and V is your W. You need a pair of legs to stand, that's the big V. In between the big V, they create this mark over here, C, this mark over C, C over here, stands for man, man's life. 353 equals to 1111 because it equals to 23, and 23 equals to 8 and 15, and 8 and 15 equals to 23, and then 2 times 3 and 2 plus 3 equals 5 and 6, and 5 and 6 talks about Jupiter and Saturn, and you are Saturn. You landed on Mars. This is you. I made a 1 and a 1 to start it. I created my K. I capped it off to create my R, and it shows me a moon landing. This is the moon landing they had. When they said they went to the moon in 1967, they went into your head just a little bit deeper. They did something into this earth and something to this world that they ended up going into our moon. And what was the biggest moon landing in history? The arm was strong. Mention the names. Mention the machines they use. Calgary for the oil. Alberta. And then the big trees in BC. BC, before Christ. AD, alternate divide, alternate energy divide between the electronic Mars sandbox, the Mars sandbox on 2 sides, 2 and 2 is 4, crisscross them with this line over here. It's the D and G. Take a look at this. They have this on the cards. You'll see it on the cards. Australia has 3 kinds of racetracks all running at the same time. Copycats. You ever see what cats do? They copy each other. One jumps up, the other jumps up. One wags the tail, the other one looks at the tail wagging. It's like they're doing the continuation of something. The Canadian Football League, the Grey Cup, Saskatchewan won. Look at the Sasquatch letter. The E on the top to the E on the bottom. When you crisscross right through these, you get the letter F. 2 different hemispheres in the center of the game, running 3 and 3. The big O in Montreal, the orange julep in Montreal, the keyhole, Bugs Bunny. Another thing I wanted to show, I did the left and right. There's something I cannot show you. It's a code. It's not mine. So in respect, I'm only going to tell you about one thing. Okay? But I will mention her name. Her name is Jen. And she has this code. Okay? And it does the most amazing things for finding stuff if you know how to use it. I'm just beginning to learn. And on my first try, I found 2 things already that are relevant into my world. Doesn't mean they're going to mean anything in her world. But it made me reflect on something. So right away, I loved it. It told me something. I loved it. There's angels in this world, and she's one of them. Okay? We mentioned already why. He, her, roi means the king. The king of what? The king who knows. N-E is the one who knows. Northeast. Matrix water system. The matrix watering system. The 3 6s. The 3 5s. The 3 3s. The 2 7s and the 1 energy. I don't want to bring it any more than that. You want to know where the Greys hang out? AD 14 BC. Energy alternate divide delta of Venus. Systems of 3 worlds. Why? Because we're 3 levels of the same thing. And we have a back door from the bottom and the top. The light comes in from below. 3 by 2 is the 6th light of the 1 spirit. Into the 2 I and I worlds, because it is only 1 I into this world. But there's a reflection world. There's a star system. This is what it is. If you hold it sideways, it becomes 13. I can show you certain numbers and why. I don't know if they came up in my last video, but N and Z are the same. And I'm doing this real quick. They're the same, and these are the letters. This one becomes the cross. This is the dog pound you are in. This is the 40 of the round Monopoly you go. The oyster is supposed to be something to do with your mind. It also gives you the pearl. It's also a representation of number 8. Venus and the 7th gate have a representation of 7 and 2. Uranus and Venus come together. Where do Uranus and Venus come together? Because of the 7th gate over here. It runs the 7th gateway right over here. It's the light that comes in. It's the 7th gate. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 4 corners. This goes around. It goes around that circle that I showed before. It's a circle. It goes around, around and around. Now the question is, how do you sweep in a corner? Well, you can't put, how can I show you this? Wow, I wish I can explain this what it is. I can't. And I'm not sure if it's part of the, see the N here? Well, this can go into the corner and clean while it turns here. This cleans down here, this cleans up here. The energy goes from down here, up here, transfers to this side and goes back here. If this whole thing up here was Neptune, okay, you have 4 parts of Venus. 4 parts of Venus that create the Neptune. What I was gonna tell you is because Venus, listen, this is the way it is. Mercury, 1, times Earth 3 equals Earth 3. Venus, 2, times the second planet, 2, because Venus is 1, but she's the 2 of the 1 because she's in the second world, in the middle world. She's 2 times what the next planet is. The next planet is 2 times herself makes Mars. Then 3 times herself makes Saturn. Then 4 times herself makes the crown and makes Neptune, the moon. So 2 and 8 fit together. Because 2 and 8 fit together, we now need 2 and 7 to fit together to make 9. 9 and 8 are the same letter. 9 has to come into this world. When you come into this world, when 9 comes into this world, it's entering into the world of 10. Because 8 and 2 comes together. Once your feet touch the ground, or once you touch the ground, your 8 and your Venus come together, creating your body to be enlightened by 10. And light 10, 9, light 10 bolt. We are the Saturn giants of Neptune's skulls. The skull, our skull that takes all that energy, that skull that reads. The reeds are beads, the reeds. I'm a little confused on something myself, don't you worry. What did I want to say about Canada? I'm not sure. What did I have to say? I got to go back in my book. I'm looking. This came out, and this came out. So we ended up with that, with the N and the Z. Now when you count this one, you will add now 1 to 14 because it starts at the beginning. 1 to 14 is 15. 1 and 26 is 27. 27 and 15 is 42. Okay, which the Mayan talk about, but I'm not getting into it. But once you're here, you don't want to move this one. Okay? You want to leave this one the way it is. You leave this one the way it is because it's on the cross and you're in the dog pound. Now you add 1 more to here. You have the spirit light. You have the spirit light with 2. You have the spirit becomes earth of the mind you are. The 3, the earth body we are. 3 parts of 3. I don't know how it works. I don't know exactly how they call it. If I was a professional scientist, I'd definitely tell you. So this would become your 41. When this becomes your 41, 14 to the middle of this Rubik's Cube, and there's only 26. There's 26 blocks on the Rubik's Cube. 14th area is the center. That's your 40. One more, okay, one more of this would be in the next. So if you start in the center of this Rubik's Cube and you jump into life in the next one, it's 27 and 14, which is 41. That's your AD. That's your alternate divide. That's your Monopoly board. Monopoly, you would go this way and this way. You would only be able to go 30 this way, and you would have to stop because the next one is go to jail. But when you're on go and you go this way, you'll only be able to go 9. So you go 30 this way and 9 this way. Now what do you do next? You now have your 13, 13, 13. If you jump into the world at 10, you now catch up with your tail because now you're in jail and you're on number 30, which is Marvin Gardens. Welcome to Marvin's Gardens, where everything grows in your head. It's Mars. The garden of Mars and the moon of Mars is in your head, and it's dishing up some kind of salad, I don't know, but they're mixing everything up in that area. These are how the diamonds go around. You see the wheels they travel on? But wait, this was once a nose saying 6 and 6, but now it's leaning on the nose on the inside of this world. Everything is an expression of another side of something. So I see two wheels, and now these two are turning around inside of each other. Like I said, it turned to number 13, or to 138 or 135. You see this the way it goes down here, and down here? It looks like a 5. 1, 3, 5 says ace. The ace has taken up space. 1 times 3, and then you go to Uranus, and Uranus is 3. It's Uranus 3 and C3 and G3. C, G, A in the center is E, says cage. Okay? Now, this is not anybody's things. I've done this before 100 times. This is 1, this is 3, this is 7, this is 9, and between is 5. These 5 over here groups, these 5 numbers, these 5 planets, says caging of the one spirit light. That's what it says in here. Now, I didn't see this anywhere, so if I said something wrong and someone's going to figure out something, I don't know what to say about this part. Let me show you something else. Barack Hussein Obama, 588. Southeast, last year, southeast, northeast, 55. Northwest, 55. Southeast, 195. This is your Aleph letter connecting your A, E, and I. When you connect your A, E, and I, and last year, 7286, reminding us, take away the last 9 years of 2005, we end up with 5281. Earth and Venus. The third planet, the second planet become the sixth planet, becomes Saturn. Saturn is created by Alpha Beta. Alpha Beta of the moon, of Neptune, of the body or the electrics, of the energy coming out of Jupiter. We breathe the air that burns the light that heats the system of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Multiply, addition, subtract, and divide. What we take from one, we give to another. We're always putting it in a different place. I'm not sure where to go now, but all I know is the Super Bowl is holding the Grey Cup. All I know is when I look at the Grey Cup, it's the 101st year. 101, Alpha Omega. When I look at the Grey Cup, you know what it looks like? It looks like a character from Bugs Bunny moving around on one of those, you know, those new vacuum cleaners that are this thin, run around and clean everything up. They look like that. The S on the handles are something else. What does the Super Bowl look like? What does the Supper Bowl look like that holds the Grey Cup into the best country in North America, Canada? Sorry to take one side, boys. Where we have Santa Claus who comes from here, because everything is joined up here. This is where everything comes from. This is the prize to the world is Canada. The prize to the world is Canada. The prize to the world is Canada. And there's a reason maybe why that French is standing so tall. When God comes here, the first thing I'm going to say is, Comment ça va, monsieur? Which means, how are you, sir? Because I think God's going to come here and speak French. The whole thing is, I don't want to give him a sex. I just want to say he's the spirit of light. And whatever sex comes with the spirit of light, let him be shining his laser beams upon us. Raphael 7286 and the constellation of Pegasus. Oh, there was one other thing. I don't know if I showed you. Go look at the Google 2014. I forgot to tell you. If it's an AD light, okay, AD has to do with 2014. BC is 2023 or 2032. 20 and 32 is 53, Quebec. 20 and 23 is 43, the Baltic. The Baltic is how it all began. A, B, C, D, the fourth property is the Baltic. If we go around the entire monopoly board, we end up with Mars and Earth. Marvin Gardens. come in and play inside my mind. Everybody is welcome to join, because it's all about how we, and we, and we, and it's how about we. Number one, it pissed on me and everything turned yellow. Another thing I wanted to show you. Going to see any lights at a ball game? The lights are standing up. You see the design? You see the way it's tilted over to one side? Sometimes our noses are a little crooked because we need to get more of the energy from one side than the other side. So if you look at our noses, it's a little bit off on our face. And I'm not the only one. It's not that they can't put a nose, but the nose is just for the trap that's behind it. The mouse trap right behind the nose. Got to be picking a little brains in there, right? This is the year, my friends. For those who don't know me, I made a video a few years ago, and I said it can only happen when it's cold. So that means if this winter ends and it doesn't happen, that's not what it means. When you're under a deep freeze, you're under polar ice. When you shorten the polar ice, you just have the poles. When you have the poles or the police ice, the ice freeze, spread your legs. Time's up, my friends. The one world order has taken a step a little bit closer. But we all know what's going to happen at the end, regardless of what we choose to do. It's how we go through the times that we will reckon with whatever. It is time to be a friend. It is time to be friendly, and remember what it is. Be friendly, and be friendly for the rest of your life, because that's the only way we are going to survive together in this human race. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, low shoe for sure. Low shoe for sure. Low shoe, low shoe. One other thing I'm going to show real quick. No, I'm going to mention it. No, I can't mention that. And I can't. And I was working on something, a Fibonacci number. But I don't want to mention that yet. Actually, I think I can work on it. Everybody knows the Fibonacci numbers, right? So I just decided to divide up the worlds. I went ahead and took the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain and made two. This was my Venus. I brought them together. Creation of the Earth inside of Jupiter. The energy light of 4 and 4. 4 on the left, 4 on the right. If it's not 4 and 4, it's 3, 3, and the 2 lights that come within. This 8 will light the 3 and 3 plus the 2 light that's within. We have their 5, which everybody knows that you drag the 8 to the 5, create your 13, create your AC connection with beta alpha, which is the Venus world of Mercury, which is in the 3 world. Now it starts to mean man's cube in his head. The total on one side is 24. We've got cat scratch fever, and this one shows the blockade of time and the passageway of 55. Now I break that all down and I end up with Lovejoy right over here. Whenever this was 55, this is Lovejoy. If you mention 1955, it's when Einstein, I think, passed away. The same thing, 55 becomes 25Y and 10J. But the 55 passage is the circle. In its own self, it says joy. This is X and O, because X and O is 15 and 10. Now you can do it other ways and end up with another thing. You would end up T and O. T is the T and E. T is the 20th letter, E is the 5th. This shows in the 1 area, this shows in the 20 area. There's only going to be another 30 over here. If you get a 40, 40 reflects 2 times 20, which is 4 times 10. So it's the J in 4 different worlds. You have to keep breaking it down for the number of change that we have in our pocket to the Roman numerals of the X. In this line, we can use the 2. In this line, here we have Mars 4. In this line, we have 6. We use 4 and 6. I'm not sure which way to use 2. This is 5 times 2, 5 plus 2 of E and E and E and E of E-I-E-I-O, because you go 5 to 5, you're talking about 3 and 3 in each world, and the 3 light in here, lighting up the 3 areas here, here, and here with 1 light. This ends up J and G. This becomes your B and C. So I'm not really sure if I said it all right. I'm not sure exactly. So one world ends up to be 47, which is the time. So part of your head takes care of time, and the other one takes care of the thinking. So it seems like one is taking care of the body, the doghouse. Why? Because 7 and 4 says doghouse. The joy of the dog. That's what it basically says. In fact, it says the joy of the dog, the time of the cat. Why? Because 7 by 4 is 28, which is the time heaven. 7 by 4, 28 for the 28 days of the moon. 7 plus 4 is 11 for the spirit time, counting the spirit time. Why do I say it's the dog? 26 is the dog, but once you go a little bit deeper into 34, which is Earth and Mars, which is the dog pound of Marvin Gardens. The 4 is the Delta dog. The 7 is the G. It says D-O-G inside its own circle, inside its own ball. It's number 47. 47 is the lottery ticket super 47. 7 numbers of 47. 55. 55 yards in the Grey Cup. 24. 24 is the number of the cat, the 212 hours of the day, the copycats. Now, I'm not too sure what's right and wrong, but everything has to go together and tell a story of some sort, which somebody's going to figure out the answer to it. Again, we had 1667 Lovejoy. Lovejoy fits in with these numbers because 5 by 2 is 10 and 7 right over here. You double it, it's 2014. 333, which represents communication, community chest, and also represents Abraham, brings it to the year 2000. And when 14 years later and 15 years later, you're talking about pi, 3.1415. So we're coming back to the time of pi and man just before he exits off the cross into his new world, number 14. This and this would be the year 2000. 2000 plus 000 is 2666. And this is how it ends. 2 worlds of 6, 6, and 6. 1332. 1332 and 2331 equals 3663. Creation of R&R. The railroad. Man on the tracks. Ready to go. Let's go. Raphael 7286. On the constellation of Pegasus. It's 10:04 at night. And in 277 eves, including tonight, it will be my birthday, and we will blow the sound of the trumpet. Thank you for watching. Raphael 7286 on the constellation of Pegasus. I could have stopped it at 2222, but I was only going to stop it when I was through. Thank you for watching.